The GBPUSD hit our TP target earlier this morning at the 1.29700 area, and in fact this is one of our most profitable trades for this week. As you can see here, we started buying the GBPUSD as soon as it broke out of this descending trend line at the beginning of the week, and you see how we were able to maximize the potential of this move as we had key structures like the 1.28420 level, the 1 point area. In fact, it has been a very beautiful bullish move for us all in this community, and for those who took advantage of this opportunity, well done to you for being on standby to have caught that move. Now, for those who still have a buy position running here, I would advise you to move all stop losses right now, as the market might likely shift to the downside at this point in time. So now that we are going into the New York session today, what is going to be our plans and what do we expect will be happening along this structure? Well, before we talk about the expectations for today, I want us to scale up into the higher time frame. Let's look at things from an holistic point of view of what is going on in the market and how we intend to correlate the structures on the higher time frame with what we have on the lower time frame to make an informed decision ahead of the New York session. Now, scaling up into the 4 hours time frame, this is what we saw at the beginning of the week. Remember, we had a very beautiful ascending trend line. In fact, we had a couple of ascending trend line which emphasized the strength of the buyers in this particular market. But the most important level here is not the trend line, but the 1.285 level, which was a very strong selling niche since the mid-month of June. Now, if you look at the structure here, mid-month of June, we saw how sellers came in to negate all bullish attempts to break out of that structure. We saw the same thing here. Buyers struggled again, and not until at the later parts of last week we saw price come back into that area and leading into the final breakout of the structure this week. And you know, when price broke out of that structure, we were opportune to be part of that move as we rode it all the way to the upside. Now, with the breakout of the 1.285 level, a very strong key level there, which was serving as our yardstick for trading activity for the week, we all know from a technical standpoint that when price action breaks out of a key structure, just like what we have here, there is a chance that price could come back and retest that level. And since price action tested our 1.297 where our TP target was, are we going to be seeing a retracement that will bring price, that is profit taking activity, that will bring price back into the structure that was broken yesterday to incite another wave of bullish momentum? Or will this turn out to be a breakdown to incite a sell-off in this particular market? So now, with a certain pressure we have been witnessing here in the last 7 to 8 hours now, we are going to be very patient to see how far this retracement phase will go, and if this turns out to be a profit-taking activities, definitely we want to look out for structures and patterns that will help us to join that move all the way into this area, where we shall look out for how price reacts to that level to determine what our next line of action will be. So with this information we have gathered here on the 1 hour time frame, let's scale back down, on the 4 hours time frame, let's scale back down to the 1 hour time frame to make an informed decision. Now, if you look at the 1 hour time frame closely, you would recall that we had an ascending trend line which we were using to guide our trading activity for this week. And look at it right here and notice how price action has remained above that ascending trend line, not until this hour that price action is currently trading along the trend line. So you know how we use our ascending trend lines in this community. As long as price action remains above the ascending trend line, we want to feel comfortable in our buy position and of course look out for more opportunities to buy. Now, if you relate that expectation with this current structure, you will see that we are at a critical point in the market where price action is currently oscillating around that ascending trend line. Now, the question at this point in the market is, will this trend line hold again to push price to the upside, or will it be broken to the downside to incite a sell-off in this particular market? So we are at a critical conference here where anything could actually happen. So our center of focus for today is basically around this ascending trend line. Now there are two scenarios we are going to be looking out for around this zone to decide what our next line of action will be, and one of this expectation here is a reversal pattern. So if we start seeing buy pressure, it might come in the form of a double bottom structure, head and shoulder pattern, or a falling wedge, whichever case it may be. Then we identify the neckline, break out of it will confirm a trend continuation to the upside, after which we can have our buy stop order, another buy stop order above the 1.27900 level to maximize the potential of that bullish move. So this is what we are going to be looking at on this chart to buy the GBPUSD at this point in time. However, if price action breaches the trend line in such a way that it breaks down the trend line to the downside, then at this point we want to start considering selling. Now, for those who are already profitable on the GBPUSD, you could have your sell stop order right away and join that bearish move to the downside. But if you're taking this position for the first time, you know you don't have any leverage at all, as this will be your first move. So what you want to be doing is to remain patient. After the breakdown happens, scale down to your lower time frame and look out for confirmations that buyers are struggling to climb back above that trend line, and this would reflect on the chart as a retest of structure, continued selling pressure on our lower time frame to incite a sell-off in this particular market. And in fact, we have structures, we have levels here that we can use to maximize the potential of this bearish move to the downside. So if price breaks down, retest the structures, we are definitely going to be adding more position to our existing trade. So this is what we are going to be looking at this point in time to sell the GBPUSD. Well, personally for me, I already took an advantage here, leveraging on the profit I had made so far this week below the 1.29350, and currently running with about 15 pips in profit, move stop loss to break even at this point in time to see if price action will still continue to the downside. So let's see what happens here. Our center of focus still remains along this ascending trend line. Whatever happens here, if we notice double bottom structures, then we want to be getting ready to buy. But if a breakdown of that level happens, we want to be getting ready to sell. So it's very simple. If you have questions, feel free to let me know in the comment section.